In its 1918 decision of Arver v. United States, the Supreme Court distinguished conscription from slavery under the rationale that involuntary service is an honorable and noble duty. Quote, as we are unable to conceive upon what theory the exaction by government from the citizen of the performance of his supreme and noble duty of contributing to the defense of the rights and honor of the nation, as the result of a war declared by the great representative body of the people, can be said to be the imposition of involuntary servitude in violation of the prohibitions of the 13th Amendment, we are constrained to the conclusion that the contention to that effect is refuted by its mere statement. The decision is more than a little suspect and not above criticism. The idea that SCOTUS was unable to conceive upon what theory one could call involuntary service involuntary servitude is more than a little rich. Of course, the Supreme Court's authority to interpret the Constitution is not found in the Constitution itself, but rather was actually granted to the court by itself in its decision of Marbury v. Madison. SCOTUS as such cannot legally nullify the law, any more than a jury can legally nullify a verdict. But that notwithstanding, can it really be said that the government still views conscription as a supreme and noble duty, as the Arver decision puts it? When lawmakers have gone through such an extent to keep their daughters out of the draft, it really makes one wonder. American women have a proud legacy of service in our armed forces, especially so because their service has always been voluntary. Throughout our history, we have strived more and more to emphasize that conscription is a common duty. Quote, the current practice of registering all men, even those ineligible for military service under today's all-volunteer force standards, is intentionally designed to limit potential inequities in the draft process and set expectations of civic duty nationwide in advance of a national emergency. Far from allowing people to sit on the sidelines, everyone is expected to serve, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, to the best of their ability. This will be the first time in history, at least overtly, that we have restricted the draft to a group of people explicitly because we like them less. In a lot of ways, the use of sex today mirrors how race was used to make slavery more palatable in the 1600s. In the same way that tying slavery to race allowed more white people to benefit off of and support the use of slavery without having to fear being enslaved themselves. A blanket and unwavering female exemption allows women and people with female relatives to support from afar, benefiting off the labors of a minority to which they are not a part and can never join. A nation cannot discriminate against its defenders. Even a draft requires a general consensus among the drafted that the government's actions are legitimate and righteous. Quoting former director of the Selective Service System, Bernard Rosker, yes, that Rosker, American history suggests that conscription works only when the cause enjoys overwhelming support among the general population and there is a generally held belief that all are participating with equal sacrifice. The majority of men today think the draft is discriminatory. Among actual draft age men, that number is probably much higher. Part of what motivates people to go to war is the thought that if they survive, they'll be coming home to a better world. If men are going to war only to come back to a country that will forever see them as second-class citizens, then what exactly are they fighting for? Any draft wherein people start forcing their obligations onto one another is doomed to fail. A draft like that can work on paper, but it won't work in reality.